I wanted to go back to my roots and play some Atari 2600. So what better game to start with than Activision Tennis? We haven't played any tennis games yet, and Activision made some great games for the Atari 2600. So I tried to capture footage with the actual Atari 2600 right here, and it's a modded Atari 2600, so it has the audio video composite outputs right there, but it wouldn't capture the footage correctly. It was in black and white and it had lines through the picture, so that wasn't an option. So I had to find a workaround, and the workaround I found was this Activision anthology game for the PlayStation 2. It has a great 80s soundtrack and it has the tennis game on there, so let's get to it.
Tonight's matchup. Versus
I don't want to die.
God.
Welcome to Activision Tennis. Retro Sports Gamer Tom is on the top in red, and Casual Gamer Joe is on the bottom in blue. Casual Gamer Joe is hungry for a victory, so let's see if the Atari 2600 is more his speed. Now, before I talk about the gameplay, let's talk about Activision. Activision was the first ever independent video game publisher. Up until their existence, all video games developed and published were made by the hardware manufacturers. For example, Atari, who created the Atari 2600, made all the games for it, so there were no third-party developers yet. After Atari founder Nolan Bushnell was bought out and forced out, 4 of Atari's top video game developers felt like new management was no longer paying them for their creativity and development of their Atari 2600 games. Frustrated about their new pay structure, these 4 guys gave the big old American way screw you to Atari and started their own company. Not only was their company successful, but they created some of the best games for the Atari 2600, like this tennis game that we're playing now. Nothing on the 2600 is going to be too visually stimulating, but let me tell you, this tennis game is a lot of fun to play. It kind of plays like an advanced version of Pong. We played this game with a PlayStation 2 controller, but I highly recommend using the Atari 2600 joystick. I think it adds a lot to the feel of the game because you don't have to hit any buttons when the ball comes, you just move your player around the court. The only time you have to hit a button on the controller or the big red button on the joystick is when you serve. Once you become a little bit more advanced of a player, you notice the ball moves based on the angle you come in at the ball with your player. It actually controls a lot like Pong, except you have more range of motion with your player. For its time, it did a good job emulating tennis, but it's missing some key elements, especially when it comes to serving. See, tennis has this thing called a serve box on each side of the court, and basically you have to hit the serve on an angle across court to your opponent. Well, in this game, you can pretty much hit the serve wherever you want. Also, there's no power meter like thing to change the speed of the serve, but you can move your player back and forth on the baseline, choose when to hit the button, and then you can change the angle of where the serve goes. Another thing missing is the extended lines for doubles play. Now, I think this is a good move because you're not really playing 4 players in this game, and it will just make it more confusing. So I guess I'm fine with just a big box as the court. Alright, it might be tough to give you highlights of the rest of this game, but I'm going to do my best.
that.
A game. Oh my god, 5-1? Alright, I gotta dig deep right now. I'm digging deep.
Keep your hands on the boogie, you won't go blind. You wanna find love, then keep your hands on the boogie. Now put your right foot in, take your right foot out, but keep your hands on the boogie, that's what it's all about.
It's cool that such a simplistic game like this could be so competitive at the same time. Unfortunately, this game wasn't competitive.
And the casual gamer's first victory, which is plenty more to come. No, I mean, you know, I'm cash. I mean, this game is simple. It's bare bones, it's raw dog. And the one way Activision Anthology for the PS2 is different than from the original is the colors. Great colors.
What? What are you talking about?
Once again, I do the pass-fail system now, and this game is definitely a pass.
This game is a part of history, and Activision did an excellent job making this game enjoyable and competitive. The Activision Tennis is a solid B for me. Solid B.
You know, this is what a casual gamer lives for, this type of game. Where you can just move the player around, and you could just, you know, be a dream come true.
So Misfit IPA. This is what I was drinking during Activision Tennis. It's a good beer, but it's not a good recipe for success. I got a good buzz going off of this one. This is from Wild Onion Brewery in Lake Barrington, Illinois. 6.5% alcohol. The guy at the liquor store told me that this beer is better or just as good as Zombie Dust. Wow, is that an overstatement? But anyways, this is a good beer. Just don't drink it if you're going to be using hand-eye coordination, because it didn't work out for me.
Causal Gamer Joe. This guy came from outer space with that performance. He was like Serena Williams, and I was like all of her opponents. I have a lot of respect for that guy after that performance. Ooh yeah, but make no mistake about it. If we play any game with more than one button that you have to press, I will. And ooh yeah, I will be victorious. Nobody does it better.